Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a news cycle on Global Television coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Wiyi Agmofwebe. President Bola Tinubu has approved the creation of a new Ministry of Livestock Development. This came as he inaugurated the renewed Hope Livestock Reform Implementation Committee at the State House in Abuja. The committee is mandated to provide sector-focused solutions to address the age-long farmers' headache crisis. On September 14, 2023, the National Livestock Reforms Committee recommended that the President create a Ministry of Livestock Resources, among other deliverables, to reduce the decades-long gory conflict between farmers and nomadic cattle herders nationwide. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, says fuel stations are to operate longer hours for the supply and distribution of petrol, calling on fuel stations to aid availability given the current tight situation. Speaking during a joint inspection of stations by the nation's oil company and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority officials, Executive Vice President of Downstream at NNPC Limited, Dapo Shegun, stated that turnaround period of petroleum motor spirits trucking is also elongated to ease the situation being witnessed. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority have reportedly embarked on a joint monitoring of the supply and distribution of fuel stations in the Federal Capital Territory and across the country to ensure that queues disappear. A bill seeking the creation of 74 seats for women in the federal parliament has passed a second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and 12 others, seeks to alter sections 48, 49, 71 and 117 of the 1999 Constitution as amended to create one quote special seat reserved exclusively for women in the Senate and House of Representatives for each state of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Nigerians have raised concerns over the recent Samoa agreement signed by the federal government over what they consider disguised efforts to erode the country's moral values in exchange for Western loans. Deacon Michael completes the report.
The federal government, in a statement issued by Mohammed Idris, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, said the agreement was signed after extensive reviews and consultations by the Interministerial Committee convened by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Justice. However, some Nigerians are bothered by certain articles of the agreement they believe systematically legalized the practice by those in lesbian, bisexual and transgender community.
As Nigerians, we know the current situation of things. And if we're being honest with ourselves, there's really no money. And so the duty is on government to enter relations with other countries and find ways to bring funds into Nigeria.
So you cannot imagine, with the couple with the problems we have now in the country, we are inviting these dirty things that are not allowed in any religion. So I'm totally against it.
It's going to be detrimental to our youth. I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about our youth. Because when our youth got to know about this agreement, it's going to be really detrimental to them. Detrimental in the sense that, how can we sign an agreement that we don't even know the consequences of it?
Though with a lot of concern, the Samoa Agreement serves as a vital legal framework between member states, with the sole aim of promoting the sustainability, development and fighting climate change and generating opportunities for member states. Deacon Michael reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Edikon, for following the development for us there. Let's turn to other stories quickly. A drug baron on the wanted list of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has have been identified as Joaquin Mbono and arrested. Mbono was arrested by operatives of the agency in his village mansion in Imo State on July 5. A statement by the agency spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, says Mbono was arrested along with his associate. He stated that Mbono belongs to a drug cartel behind the production of methamphetamine. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Federal Capital Territory Command, says it has arrested no fewer than 100 traffic offenders in the last week during the ongoing Operation Green Light Enforcement in the city center. The Territory Sector Commander, Mutau Chori, lamented that the motorists, especially commercial drivers, have made it a habit to disregard traffic lights. He warned that the Corps would continue to sanction traffic offenders regardless of their status to ensure sanity on the roads. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities, as well as allied institutions of the University of Abuja, have commenced protests over the failure of government to release the 4-month salaries of the university workers during the period they embarked on strike in 2022. Addressing the press at the start of the protests, the chapter president, Nuruddin Yusuf, described the action of government as provoking. Says it could be recalled that the Nigerian government had withheld the salaries of both academic and non-academic staff in the Nigerian university system for taking part in an industrial action that grounded the universities for 8 months in 2022. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has initiated a training program on automatic weather station configuration and climate data tools to enhance data quality and availability. The training, which commenced at NIMET's headquarters, is part of the agency's efforts to modernize its weather and climate application tools. In a statement, the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Professor Charles Anosike, emphasized the importance of the training. The program is being conducted in collaboration with Sahel Consulting under the Building Agricultural Systems Resilience in Nigeria project. Edo State House of Assembly has expressed concern over the menace of indiscriminate dumping of refuse on major roads and drainages in the state, which it says is a precursor to cholera. Deputy Speaker Maria Oligbe Edeko raised the concern under matters of public importance and noted that the indiscriminate dumping of refuse on roads and drainage constitutes a health hazard. The Deputy Speaker therefore called on the local government chairman to build refuse dump sites and set up monitoring teams to prevent the menace, especially at night, while calling on health officers in the state to carry out sensitization of the people on the importance of proper waste disposal and keeping the environment clean. You're watching News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using our Global TV NG and other handles as you now see on your screen. When the news returns, despite battling a stiff poison syndrome, Celine Dion to perform at 2024 Olympics. I will tell you so much about that when we return after this break. We encourage you to stay with us. Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
This is Global Television, bringing you a live broadcast of News Cycle with Uyi Agmo Fwegbe. Thank you for your time with us. On the foreign scene, U.S. President Joe Biden has condemned a wave of Russian missile strikes that killed at least 38 people in Ukraine as a horrific reminder of Russia's brutality as it vowed to strengthen Kyiv's air defenses. At least 190 persons were injured across the country, including some at Children's Hospital in the capital. It comes as Biden prepares to host a NATO summit in Washington. The U.S. president says further boosts to Ukraine's air defenses will be announced at the meeting. 12 days after a halting debates performance that may go down as one of the most damaging in modern American history, the U.S. President Joe Biden is fighting for his political survival under intense domestic and global scrutiny. This week's NATO summit in Washington, D.C. may be his path, at least to a temporary reprieve or the president's last stand. In the past few days, Biden has rallied against his critics, claiming the mandate of Democratic primary voters and challenged opponents to step forward and try to unseat him. He has promised repeatedly that he is moving ahead with his campaign and that the time for second guessing and hand-wringing is over. That pressing ahead will start at the NATO summit, and of course the entire world has its eye on that summit, at least because of President Joe Biden. Let's bring you other stories now. The United Nations has protested over the latest mass evacuation orders issued by Israel in Gaza, as the army says it had killed dozens of militants in close quarters combat in its latest offensive in Gaza City. Israel extended its evacuation warning to cover most of Gaza's main city, and intense fighting erupted. Israel has now issued 3 evacuation orders for Gaza City and 1 for the south of the Palestinian territory since June 27 in a new stepping up of its military operations. The United Nations says tens of thousands of civilians have been killed. Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has warned that the region faces disintegration after the military rulers of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso cemented a breakaway union. The 3 countries formed what they have called Confederation of Sahel States at a meeting on the eve of the Economic Community of West African States Summit, marking another test for the bloc they declared they were splitting from earlier this year. ECOWAS is already wrestling with sweeping jihadist violence, financial trouble, and challenges mustering a regional force. And in business, the federal government has announced a 150-day duty-free import window for feed commodities as it stepped up efforts to tackle rising inflation, which had impoverished many Nigerians. The government also expressed its decision to collaborate with states to expand land cultivation across the country. As a consequence, the government has suspended duties, tariffs, and taxes for the importation of certain feed commodities through land and sea borders. Some farmers in Ondo State have approached the State High Court sitting in Ondo Town in the state to challenge the sale of their farmlands in Olua Forest Reserve in Odigbo local government area of the state by the state government. According to the concerned farmers, under the auspices of Olua Forest Reserve farmers, the land measuring 2,000 hectares was sold to a foreign company, while the certificate of occupancy had been issued to the buyer, rendering thousands of the concerned farmers jobless. In the suit filed by counsel Tokbe Temeku, the court was asked to declare the action of the government in selling the land illegal. The Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) has proposed an aggregate expenditure of 1.911 trillion naira for the 2024 budget, tagged Budget of Renewed Hope. Managing Director of the Commission, Samuel Ogboku, presented the budget before the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC in Abuja. He said the primary objective in preparing the budget is to achieve the sustainable economic development for which the Commission is founded. At the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, the Naira has dropped to 1,523 Naira 85 kobo per dollar, depreciated from previous close of 1,509 Naira 67 kobo to the American greenback. Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Markets is the market trading segment for investors, exporters, and end users that allows for forex trades to be made at exchange rates determined by prevailing market forces. On entertainment, Celine Dion is contemplating a return to the spotlight despite battling a rare neurological disorder known as Steve Poison syndrome. The iconic 56-year-old artist has reportedly been offered a prestigious opportunity to perform at the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics despite the progression of her illness. The Canadian singer, known for her powerful voice, revealed that she had been diagnosed with the progressive neurological condition that affects the muscles, causing stiffness and spasms in 2022. In spite of this, Celine has previously expressed her eagerness to return to live performances, which have been a cornerstone of her career. She sees the Paris Olympics as a chance to make a comeback to the stage she loves so dearly. I'm sure the world is looking out now and wishing her all the best as she takes this once again bold step. Let's turn to sports now and bring you some excitement. Italian transfer expert Pier Francesco Monachino has made a bold claim that Serie A giants Napoli will not entertain the offer from Chelsea involving an offer of Romelu Lukaku and Cesare Casadei plus cash for Nigeria's international Victor Osimhen. In their bids to sign the Super Eagles striker, the English Premier League were willing to offer Lukaku and Casadei plus a fee in the region of 30 million euros cash to Napoli to lure the striker to Stamford Bridge. Osimhen agreed a new contract with Napoli in December. However, those terms only run until the summer of 2026, and there is reportedly a release clause of around £113 million included in the agreement. France midfielder Adrien Rabiot has admitted that teammate Kylian Mbappe is having a rough time at Euro 2024. Despite his status as one of the standout players in world football, Mbappe has scored just once in 4 appearances at the tournament so far, a penalty against Poland. Mbappe's cause has not been helped by the broken nose that he suffered in France's ongoing group game against Austria, which has meant that the forward has had to wear a mask in subsequent matches. Manchester United have tabled an improved offer of £45 million plus £5 million in add-ons for Everton defender Jarrad Brentwaite. Everton rejected United's opening bid of £35 million last month and are known to want closer to £70 million for the 22-year-old defender. However, United, who have prepared to give Braithwaite a long-term contract worth $160 million a week, hope that he increases offer might tempt their Premier League rivals to the negotiating table. So much of money in football these days, don't you think? But that's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Agmo Fwebe saying a big thank you to you for watching. At top of the hour, 7 p.m.